Hey everyone. Hi Tamika, how are you? Thanks for coming in. Blake should be coming soon. I'm good, thank you. It's been a long day. But I meeting a couple of people, YouTubers this weekend at Hampton Beach, so I'm excited about that. So after work tomorrow I'm gonna drive up there. I've only met the one or the one channel, which is two girls, in person. So it's gonna it's gonna be exciting to meet the other ones. Hopefully Blake will be here shortly. Oh, there he is. Hi Blake, how are you?
Hey guys, sorry about my lateness.
Oh, hold on. All right, how are you doing?
I'm good.
So how was your day today?
Oh, it was okay. Just uh, busy. It was hot today outside. Don't like the heat.
Oh, I bet, especially in Texas and being outside doing the labor.
West Texas, especially, it's all dry.
Yeah. Hi Paprika, thanks for coming in. My recovery, it's going okay, Tamika. I've been having some pain on the left side that started like the last 2 days that's increased. So I'm just gonna keep an eye on it, and if I need to call my doctor, I will. But it's hard when my doctor's in Georgia and I'm here in Massachusetts.
Right?
So, but like I was telling Tamika, I'm gonna be going to Hampton Beach this weekend. So hopefully some relaxation and
Sweet.
doing just hanging out with people. Hopefully it'll get better. Hi,
Oh,
Alyssa.
it
Thanks for
will.
coming in. So today was a very long day, and then I do have to pack, and because we had some things going on in the hospital, and um and so I have to pack because tomorrow I'm gonna try to leave a little early from work. I have a meeting at 4 o'clock. Who puts meetings at 4 o'clock on a Friday? But I'm gonna try to take that from my phone and leave early. But
Have any of you eaten here before?
what is it? Taco
Ta-
Villa? No, I
Taco Villa.
is
Oh
that
my
just a
gosh.
is that just a Texas thing?
I think it's just like a Midland Odessa thing.
Oh,
Or no, that's not true. It's there's one in there's a few all around. It's a Texas thing. It's like a Midwest thing.
oh, okay. Hi Nancy, thanks for coming in. So yeah, um, I watched this movie. It's called Don't Laugh. It's called The Marriage App. Have you heard of it on Netflix?
Mm-mm.
So it it, it was a voiceover. So it probably. I would probably have liked it better if it wasn't a voiceover, but it was about a marriage app where it gives like this each other, like say if I do something nice to Ken, then I get points, and if he does something nice, he gets points. So it kind of helps and get the each other to do nice things, and not like, because sometimes in a relationship it'll be might be one person doing everything, and then they feel like um they're they feel like they're doing everything, and so they might not want to be in the relationship anymore. And so anyway, it's supposed to help do that.
I don't
Well,
think that would be too healthy for me because I'm so competitive. I would turn it into a fight. You know,
so
like I'm trying to win this.
well, that's exactly what happened in the movie. They ended up making it more of a competition, and it
Yep.
ended up being like who could get more points and stuff like that. And so
It's
it,
thin veneer. It's fake niceness. It's not real nice. You're just faking your nice shit stuff.
yes, exactly. Hi, Charmin Tracy. Thanks for coming in.
I had that
Um,
plot already figured out in my head.
but it's so, it's a good concept. But if somebody was really going to make that type of app, I don't think they should put a reward system on it.
You know,
I mean, it was called the marriage app, Alyssa.
I don't know. I don't think. I just, maybe it might work for people that have no sense of competition.
I think
But
all
anybody who has like the slightest desire or the littlest problem with, you know, doing anything and not trying to be the best at it, then that's not for you. That's actually that would turn toxic really fast.
yeah, and that's what exactly what happened kind of in the movie is like
Mhm.
it,
Mhm.
because after you get so many points, you get to go on vacation with your friends. And so they were competing against who gets to go on vacation with their friends. It's like, why not be like, I'm going to go on vacation. If we get 1,000 points, we're going to go on vacation with each other.
Yeah,
That would make more sense.
you would
Hi, Dee
think.
Dee. Thanks for coming in, Dee Dee. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. But and even though it was a movie, I could see that app actually happening. But and I can actually see like it happening in the how it happened in the movie with the couples. Um,
I I've recently been revisiting a bunch of old World War II documentaries and miniseries, stuff like that. Just it's the to this 2 days ago is the 79th anniversary of D-Day. In case anybody wasn't sure or didn't know that, it really makes me sad that most people don't celebrate that day as much anymore. And the thing that gets me about the invasion to Normandy is it's not I don't think about the guy that went first or second or third. Think about the guy that went fourth and just watched those three other guys get killed right in front of him. And you know what? He didn't turn around. He just kept going. It's just that you take a second and you think about stuff like that and it just humbles you. It really does. It makes you appreciate where you're at, where how peaceful it is here in America, and you learn not to take as much for granted.
yeah.
So
Thank you.
just recently, this whole week, I've been watching. Like right now, I'm on episode 4 of Band of Brothers, and that's about the 101st Airborne. It's been given the title of one of the greatest TV series of all time.
And it's Band
Top
of
10.
Brothers, is what you
Band
said?
of Brothers. Yeah, it came out in 2001. It's about
Oh,
it's about it's about our invasion into Europe.
okay. Yeah, I need to watch more of those documentaries.
Oh, they're so good.
My the whole reason I started this channel was for veterans. And so, I
Well,
really
that's cool
appreciate that.
because You know, there's another one I'm watching right now. You can get it on YouTube. It took me forever to find it because I just heard about it. I was going down a rabbit hole looking stuff up, and I found this one documentary. It was made 2 years ago, and it's called the Final Account, and it is up to date, like of our time right now. They're giving accounts from German soldiers and the SS troops, and you're hearing their side of the story, and how, these are old men that have nothing left to hide, nothing that no, they've lived a lifetime of torment thinking about all the terrible things that they've done. There's nothing more that we could do to them. I don't think, they knew what they did was wrong, and they had to live with that for the rest of their lives. So I don't hold any animosity to them anymore. And that's the thing. I met one of the veterans here in Midland. His name's Bill Womack. He was the oldest living veteran in Texas. I think I've actually told y'all his story before. I may have.
I
Or
don't
not in Texas. I'm sorry, in Midland. He was the oldest living veteran in Midland, and I went to his house for his 100th birthday.
know.
It was cool. I did yard work for him all the time. I would go to his house and plant flowers on Veterans Day, Memorial Day, all our Flag Day. I would go and put his flag up in his yard, all this stuff, veteran wise, and he really appreciated it and liked me. He didn't remember a whole lot, but his daughter said that he remembered me a lot and wondered
Mhm.
where I'd when I'd come back and see him and stuff. It was nice to get to have that connection with him. He was a uh, forward operator, and he would side out targets for the battery guns to shoot at, and that was his first job, and second, he was an infantryman, but he did the first invasion into Africa and the first invasion into Italy. He survived them both. It's
Wow.
amazing, and he pushed all the way up into Austria and Germany until we took over the entire Reichland. It was hearing all the stories that he told me. I even have a picture of him. I have a picture. So he told me the story one time about a G. There was a they were stringing out wire for them to get their telecommunications up, uh, and they heard this one of those old uh, motorcycles with the sidecar, that they heard it coming up. And like you see him you saw him in Indiana Jones. Remember, he was riding that in the third one with his dad. One of those, the exact same thing. Well, he and his buddy, they jumped out of the woods and stopped this bike. They had him at gunpoint, and they made him get off of the bike. They got onto the bike and hiked him back up to camp, and turned them into the POWs and stole their bike and rode it around till it ran out of gas.
Oh my goodness. I'm surprised
So
that he got out. Okay. Did he?
I was too. I mean, he told me he liberated a concentration camp.
Wow.
And the stories that he told me about that, I don't even know if I could share those here, right? Like that, I mean, without some viewer discretion advised type of
Yeah.
thing. Like those stories are they're really sad. I mean, I think I can tell you one. The one thing that really touched my heart the most, and it made me feel so just hollow. I guess that's the best word I can come up with. He these Jewish prisoners, their diet consists of radishes and water. That was it for years and years. They've been in these conditions of just eating the bare minimum until they died off. You know,
Mhm.
that their ultimate goal was to build things as long as they can on malnutrition until they just died of exhaustion. That was one of the main plans to exterminate the Jewish race. Well, their diets had been so malnourished, and whenever they came and they started giving them all food, they were scarfing it, eating it like crazy. They were just so hungry. They the food that they were giving had high protein and high calories, carbs, stuff like that, and their stomachs weren't used to it, and they were dead by the next morning. Most of them
Oh,
that Yeah, most of the people that they fed, they almost he said at least 100 of them had
oh,
died, and
no.
almost all of them were very deathly ill. They had to put them on IVs and all kinds of stuff just to try and keep these prisoners that they were just trying to feed them. They were just trying to make them. That story touched my heart the most. I could only imagine how he felt. It wasn't malicious.
Yeah,
Those are and that's war. I mean,
yeah.
that's the grimy, dark part that they don't talk about.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why with people who are malnourished in the hospital, we give them IVs, and then we give them like a bag of like a bunch of like mixture of a bunch of different nutrients to slowly like ease their stomach. Because you're right, after they're just so malnourished like that, and then you get a whole, if you overeat, you can get really sick from that.
Hmm. Yeah, and it can cause you serious health problems. Dee Dee, yeah, wow. I mean, it's a crazy. The man, his name was Bill Womack. He never got higher than a corporal. But I mean, he's one of the greatest men I've ever met. He was awesome. He made an impact on my life, and I only knew him for about a year.
Oh,
He
that's
was great.
bad.
He died when he was 100 years old.
Wow. That's amazing. Everything he's been
Hmm.
through and he made it to 100. Hi,
Yeah,
Father. Thanks for coming in.
came back home. He made a family. He had children, grandchildren, great grandchildren.
Wow, that's awesome.
True American.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Y-
love it.
I wish more veterans were able to tell the stories, but I know a lot of people can't because
Well, that's the one thing that I promised him. I told him I promised him I would always carry on his stories. Anytime I had an opportunity to tell that story, I would. So
that, that's awesome. I
his memory wasn't the best, so he probably told me that story, you know,
oh, we're losing you,
five,
buddy. Oh,
but he
oh, oh, you're back. We love you broke up
there
there.
I am. Is that better?
Yep, it's
I
better.
I walked too far from the Wi-Fi.
Hi, Zia. Thanks for coming in. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, um, I know a lot of veterans don't like to talk about like their time because obviously
Yeah,
what
I don't really like to go in about what all it was for me
yeah,
either. But I mean, I'm willing to tell other people's stories and stuff. It's easier. It's easier to tell
well,
other people's stuff.
ex- exactly, and um,
I think the most thing that most of us feel about it is just a sense of humility. We didn't ask you to. We're not doing it for your graces. It was just a job and service to country. It's not. I mean, we did it for you guys. It's like that. Why are you telling me thank you for something that I was already doing? Like I mean,
if it
it's
wasn't for you, I wouldn't
but
have this freedom.
and I understand that, that it's a mutual appreciation. I get that, but I mean, from the other side of the point of the view, we just it wasn't shit. It wasn't nothing. It was just a job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I so many jobs that are really important. I think the job, I don't know if like the jobs that are really, really important deserve the recognition though. There's a lot of different jobs in the US that are so important. And if it wasn't for the people willing to do that, like even police officers, they risk their life every day, right? And all that. So I
Yeah, and
think
but I have a very, very, very opinionated opinion about police officers today. There's a thin blue line that needs to be crushed. We're all one.
yeah.
There's no more trust in our enforcement. There's no more trust in our government. I mean, nobody trusts anybody anymore, and what something's got to give. I don't see this lasting like it is for much longer.
Well, like
From
here in
this
Boston.
point on, every election is going to be rigged or it's not true. Or, I mean, recount. We're going to have triple recounts before we finally decide who won for the rest of eternity now,
Yeah.
because that's just what it is. And ugh, uh,
Well,
that's a subject I need to tiptoe around because it sets a fire in me.
well, like here in Boston, um, it's been like I've noticed that like the police officers don't enforce a lot of things, like school buses, semi trucks, whatever. They'll just blow through red lights, and they'll do really unsafe things and it's like a natural thing in Massachusetts here, and like
Well,
to
I
the.
think it's a matter of what's worth their time,
Hmm.
I guess. Imagine all the stuff that cops in Vegas have to deal with.
Oh my gosh.
Like, are you really gonna put the whole city in jail for being drunk and disorderly? No, I mean you can't. I mean, I'm pretty sure like they have rules of like that's the beauty of America. Like we as states, we as cities, we as towns, we have the right to govern ourselves, and we can set laws that don't go against the Constitution however we see fit, you know. As long as it doesn't infringe your constitution, a state, a town can enforce or not enforce or make any kind of law they want because it's theirs. That's the part about being a free American that most people don't understand. And you elect these officials. I mean, you put these officials in their positions. You got to understand, like, these are the people that represent what you want in your place. So you really need to do some background search. Start giving these libertarian candidates a real fair shot, and you're going to see a lot more change. Libertarian Party is a fast and growing one, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a libertarian president in the next few years in the next few elections, honestly.
In case the audience doesn't know what libertarian is, can you explain that a little more?
Yeah, so I tend to I tend to think of it as a mesh. Okay, we take new conforming ideas with also a conservative common sense rule. Okay, it's like we don't throw common sense out the door, but yet at the same time we understand that there was flaws in the past that we can fix to this day, and we it's just it's a middle ground. It really is a middle ground, and I don't understand why everybody's got to be so far left or so far right. I mean, you're both crazy.
This is
I,
true.
um, just I mean, I really, I truly think that we all have a point of view, and in some case or scenario, it makes some sense, but we can't we got to find a middle ground at some point without demolishing what we have set in our core values, which is our Constitution, and that's that. I like to think of myself as a conservative liberal. That's what I like to consider myself as. I'm somebody who wants to could keep traditional values of what our Constitution stands for, while at the same time reforming it to where we're not giving so much power to the upper hand. This is our place. It's our people. We run it here. Y'all just were elected here. don't don't forget who has the power in America, everybody. You
It's
have the power to do something.
That's the people, right?
The people always first.
Yeah, and I think that the government is really trying to really make it where it's not, and um, and that's why
No,
try to
no, I
think.
mean, how can you they're the ATF, in my opinion, is the most and the TSA, the two most unconstitutional agencies that should have no government funding whatsoever. If we're gonna have these things, then they should be funded by private sources like all these other people, like all that funding that you're giving to these agencies that are doing nothing but taking rights away from and even killing our own citizens, militarizing against our own people. That completely baffles me. It's called habeas corpus. It's not even legal. You can't militarize against your own people. So the moment that you start making police officers that are like regulating what your core constitutional rights state, then we're in a problem. Okay, the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms is the most unconstitutional agency that we it should have been defunded by Clinton a long time ago. He said he was going to do it and he never did it. I wish he did.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but oh, oh, I just was gonna say something. I totally forgot what I was gonna say.
ATF, unconstitutional,
Um,
freedoms.
oh my goodness. No, it had something to do with that. Oh, so I know we can't say the C word. So just like whenever that came out, nurses were um working like a dog. Obviously, they had to have as much protection as possible. And then they came out with the vaccine, right? And then
hmm
the federal government and hospitals mandated that we get vaccinated or we lose our job.
Yeah, that right there. How in the world do you get your jollies off telling somebody that you're going to take their job because they're not going to take some testing vaccine? Who knows? Like, ooh, and I've seen videos where people they put like scanner things up to their arms when they get the shot, and like a number pops up and stuff. Like they all have. You need to go look at those videos. This stuff's crazy. I mean, it's a little crazy and out of there. I don't have no proof behind any of that, but nonetheless, I'm not gonna take a vaccine that you have no absolute any type of background on it whatsoever at all. I mean, give it 20 years, 15 years. I'm not against it because we've figured out all the kinks and everything. But there's people out here, young teenagers with cerebral palsy that have taken the vaccine, and people dying of measles and all kinds of the oxygen, whatever, the respiration problems that they're having afterwards. I know one guy, he had a stent put in his heart after he took the vaccine. Like I just there's not enough background knowledge on the vaccine to consider it safe. I don't think. I don't know how you
Yeah,
can all consider yourself experts on it when you couldn't even figure out when we were and were not supposed to wear a mask. Like, come on, don't
well,
are we all that simple? We're not, right? We can't all be that simple that we're just going to bow down to what these people say. I'm
yeah,
certainly not. I'm not, and
So,
I'm not taking anything that you say is okay.
so obviously I was forced to take it. And I would have, I wanted to actually wait until it was FDA approved and had a little
Right.
more, but I was,
Yes, and I'm cool with that. I'm okay with that.
and I was forced, and obviously I need my job, so I did. But
Hmm.
but now the caveat is so many people left healthcare because of that. They lost so many healthcare workers. And now that it's 3 years later and the pandemic is ended, they CMS and even I think Biden administration is lifting the mandates. So
It's
now
funny.
what's
It,
going to happen to all the people like who were forced to take it to keep their job, but now all these people can come back that didn't have to take it.
it's
That's going to cause
ridiculous.
some issues, I think, because so all the people that took it to save their job, and I could just imagine what they're thinking because it should have been a choice, really.
When is it? When is anything in this world, in America, not been your choice? I'm sorry. Like, I mean, since when does the government have the right to tell you that you can't have your job if you don't take what we're trying to force you to take?
Yeah,
It boils my blood to no end. I'm just I can't be crazy and I thinking this way. I know I'm not. And I refuse to let people tell me like, "Oh, you're just being paranoid. You don't know what you're talking about." I mean, no, come on. I'm not. I have a brain. I'm gonna use it. I'm not gonna let you influence me. Just like I won't let the bad stuff influence me or what you think or say is good. I'm not. I'm not a simpleton like that. I have my own brain. I'm gonna use it and draw my own conclusions, as
yeah,
everybody else should.
yeah. Everybody has that. That's why I don't really get into um, topics like this, really, because what I say, if it offends someone, it's just going to offend someone because they're going to they have their own beliefs. I'm not going to change them, and they're not going to change mine. So I'm like, why even have this topic? But I'm just the reason I brought it up is because now that there's such a shortage in healthcare, and a lot of like thousands and thousands of nurses left healthcare altogether. And now that they're realizing that they lost all these healthcare workers because of that, now they're lifting the mandate. And but it's going to cause a lot of issues there because the people who had to take it are going to be ticked off that didn't want to take it, and then the people that didn't take it and lost their job after 3 years, they probably already like are content with doing something that they're doing now, and they might not want to go back to healthcare.
Right?
Healthcare is very hard. It's overwhelming. You're overworked. You're um
Underpaid.
underpaid, and it's it's so demanding and exhausting. Who would
That
want to go
that's
back into healthcare after
No,
three
you're
years of time?
absolutely right, and that's one of my biggest bones to pick with the with most police departments. They don't pay these guys anything, and they'll let any Tom, and Harry, they'll let just any one of them go out there and enforce the law with a badge and a gun after a years of 1 year of training. I mean, y'all
Is
are
it,
I
is
mean, I can't be the only one in saying there's something off about that if it takes you how many years to go to law school and pass the bar to defend somebody in law, but to enforce it, you've got that right after 6 months.
is
That
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 is that just a Texas thing, or is that nationwide?
I believe for most states it's anywhere from 6 months to like a year and a half, and in my opinion it should be when I was in the military, the 90% of what we did when we weren't deployed was training. We trained and trained and trained, and these guys they do the one training and just time and service experience. It's like it it boils my blood that they're so underpaid that they don't even respect the position anymore. You know, we need to respect what the position of a police officer means to the point that we pay them more and they respect the position too. So therefore nobody has anything messed up. You know, they pay me good to do my job right. So I'm not gonna do anything to jeopardize it.
Thank,
And
thank
that,
you,
that
thank
I
you,
think
Tracy.
that's
You
a
have a
fair
great
I think
time.
that's a fair assessment or feeling. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. Have a good night, Tracy. Janet, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Yeah, I get it. They should have more training. I think
and it's
George.
and way higher paying. It should be one of the highest paying, most decorated jobs in America, being a law enforcement officer. It really should. It
Well,
should be up there with doctor pay. It really should.
well, they're risking their lives.
I'm not kidding. I mean, they are, but at the same time, when you get paid that much, you need to know the laws. You need to know what the people have the rights of. You need to know people's rights, and you need to put that before your own life. I'm sorry, I feel that way. I truly, truly feel that the protection of people's rights means more than the the safety of your officers, because where was my safety when I was getting blown up? I don't have any sympathy for that. I'm sorry. I'm not I that may be really inconsiderate, but at the end of the day, you swore an oath to protect the Constitution, and even if it meant your death. So that means your service to your city and your people means more than your safety. 100%.
Yeah, yeah, Janet. Even athletes. But you know what? Athletes are gonna get paid enormous amount of money as long as
Hmm.
we have Blake watching them and going to the games and contributing to that. That- That's the only. Otherwise, if we have the Blake stop doing that, the athletes are not going to get paid that much.
I'm
I'm kidding.
sorry. I'm sorry. Man, come on though. Like back up off the sports. This is the one thing I'll say this much. I'll say this much. Okay, I'll say this much. That is not a place for you to make a political platform. You are there to do a job. You are part of a team. You're being paid handsomely to shut your mouth and go fling that ball. Okay, I'm not trying to hear nothing about how you feel politically. Whoop-de-doo, you've got the stage. Did Michael Jordan do that? No, he did not. That's why he's considered the greatest of all time, because he shut his mouth and he went out there and did his job. He didn't take any type of political stance. That's why he's the GOAT, okay? And that's why LeBron will never have any he couldn't even sniff Jordan's fart.
I,
I do not like LeBron James. Sorry, that rant over.
I'll wait too. Yes, Jan.
Yes, the horse face man.
The running while I'm running away.
They running while I'm running away.
uh,
That's funny.
But yeah, no, I'm just picking on you, Blake. But no, but it's true though. I mean, the more that everybody watches athletes and supports them and buys their gear and their baseball cards and stuff like that, the more they're going to get paid, and the more that
Mhm.
they feel entitled to get paid. But
Could
you're
you imagine if we did police officers around the United States like that? Like, man, I got this dude's his collectible
yes, that would
card,
be so.
like that we treat these officers like straight up heroes, like we do our sports people. Could you imagine how honored the position it would be? I mean, and right now it's just everybody takes a dump on it, even the ones who wear the uniform. That it's turned into a gang, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop. Something's gonna give.
Yeah,
Something's got to give.
yeah. I mean, the athletes and not just athletes, celebrities. They
Celebrities, they have the biggest platform. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you. I'm so sorry.
no, that's
But
fine.
you're making great points. You are.
But like even celebrities, the they feel entitled, and they'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing this movie unless I get $30 million.
Give me all. Yeah, I
And
hate it.
and I want this and I want that. It's like, why are you entitled to that over a doctor, a police officer, a military person, or all these other people? All you do is entertain us. I
Yep.
don't care. Yeah, I do watch the movies. I like movies, but that's all you do is entertain us. How are you more important than anybody else? You're not.
Nope. No, you're. I'm in agreement with you there.
Busted a bad guy dance after they arrest one. Oh yes, yes, Janet. You're so right.
I just, I don't know. I don't know how we go about fixing it without total annihilation. It's hard at this point. We've reached a real crossroads where it's hard to trust something that's broken it, and vice versa. You know,
Yeah,
the training has become so polluted with inaccuracies and you know the officer safety. Like, gosh, man, I couldn't be a cop personally. This is how much I respect the position. I would love to be a cop, but I couldn't. I don't have the temperament to respect other people to the point that I might not, I might do something like, because I can be a hothead like that, and I just,
no.
I don't I I don't I there's no way that I could honorably do the job of a police officer without with and so I would never act like I could. I'm not gonna, I've looked inwards, and I know these things about myself, and I don't know why that's so hard for all these other guys to do.
Yeah,
They just
no.
I don't
And
know.
but at least you know your limitations. Janet,
Absolutely.
you can't fix it, Blakey. You just have to get better at social skills. Yeah.
Exactly, and so but you also, like, you understand where you would be a very, very weakness. I mean, you'd be a big weakness and a not an asset, but what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. What's the opposite of an asset? Somebody who doesn't help
What
you, but
a liability?
liability. Yes, thank you. I would be a liability in that position. I'm not. That's not. Mm-mm. Nope,
Yeah,
nope,
but
nope. Don't have
at
the
least
temperament for it.
at least you know your skill or limitations and what you can
Exactly,
adapt to.
exactly. And at the end of the day, I feel like that puts me above them. The ones that don't have that. They don't have that ability to look inwards and uh, say, I don't have the capability of putting my own emotions on hold to make sure that, because if somebody talks crazy to me, I'm gonna talk crazy back. I can't help it. I can't help it, Jamie. But if you are in a position of power, you have to shut your mouth and just do your job. And I couldn't do that. So,
And that's why you do what you do, right, Blake?
yep, that's it. That's it. That's it.
You only have to worry about you and the plants.
You know it. So,
And the plants don't fight back or talk back.
no, they just get cut.
Yeah, no kidding. Yes, a detriment, Janet. Yep, that's another word. Good one.
Detriment, yeah, what do they call it? A synonym, or what's it
Yeah.
mean when two words mean the same thing?
Yes, cinnamon. Cinnamon. Oh my,
Synonym.
oh my gosh, synonym, synonym.
As Clint Eastwood said, a man has got to know his limitations. Amen. I love Clint Eastwood. That of people that had a platform and they used it correctly, that's one right there. I love Clint Eastwood. He's a
Yeah,
damn good man.
yeah. I wish. I think he has dementia now. I think, right?
He's
Is that
getting
what
old.
I
He's
think
getting
that's what I
old.
heard. Yeah. That he has something,
I
but
heard that he didn't even remember doing his most recent movie, Cry Macho, and
yeah,
that's sad.
I
That's
think
sad.
I think he has dementia. Is what I read. I could be wrong. But I think he was like 93 or whatever.
Exactly. Me and Ken are on the same spot there. He said, I wanted to be a cop, but I can't deal with stupid people. So I realized, amen, bro. I respect you for that. I can't deal with stupid people. I'd wring somebody's neck. So I don't grant myself that position of power because I'm not worthy.
Exactly. My cousin's a police officer, and he was telling me this one time a 14-year-old was in his face yelling at him and like in his face, um and he just had to be like,
Hmm.
and, just like kind of let
And me, I would be like, but I would have hit a child and like something, flicked him or I
yeah,
mean,
but you have to really learn to be able to control your. I mean, he wanted to be like, get the heck away from me, and whatever. But yeah, and
yeah,
so
no, I'm not the one. Try Jesus, not me. I throw hands.
exactly. That's why, at least, people who are going into different fields, if they know their personality and their temperament and stuff, you know what kind of field you need to go into and what you
Yeah.
shouldn't go into.
And I have the absolute utmost respect for cops that can do that because it's a tough job. I mean, knowing how I've talked to them and like how I've treated them, like man, I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. Could not do it.
Yeah, my uncle was many years he was a police officer, and then he was chief of police in lots of different areas. And then he at one point he even did undercover, and so
Really?
yeah, I
That's
forget what
cool.
it was for. I don't know if it was. I want to say narcs, but I'm not sure. But
Nah. Well,
I'm not.
congratulations, Dr. Mom.
Oh, oh, that's so exciting! Congratulations, Janet, to your son. I'm assuming it's your son, right? That is the
Yep.
doctor now.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh, you were supposed to be a nurse. Aw, we could have been twinsies, Janet.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
so many people have asked me if I miss the patient care, and I do. But with all the demands and everything that has been um all four of them. Oh
Oh
wow,
gosh, 4 of
all doctors. That is amazing, Jan.
them.
But um, with all the demands and the patient load and the stress and everything else, even though my job is very stressful too, like every day dealing with, like, I have to deal with everybody now. Before, as a nurse, I could just come in, concentrate on my patients, and go home. And I didn't
Hmm.
have to deal with I didn't have to worry about what anybody else was doing. Now, all my job is worrying about what everybody else is doing. So
Mm.
it's very frustrating, but it's
Oh, tell me about it. Being a boss is just it's excruciating. I wish I could be the boss without like dealing with all the customers and having to tell everybody what to do because it's annoying.
well, Janet, I'm only 4'10". So,
Wow. I would. I'm just. Oh, I would.
oh, you're the doctor because I got it. I misread it. Yes, but yeah, I miss it. I miss taking care of the patients, but I don't miss doing the work, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably I just like to see the customers happy. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Like,
While we're coming somewhat towards the end, we have a few more minutes. Ken, can
yeah,
you grab?
we didn't even do any trivia, huh?
Yeah, we didn't get to them last week either. We were just
No.
talking away. If you could come up with a quote, Ken, that would be good. But yeah, it's
I got one for you.
Oh, awesome.
I'll find it in here real quick.
He's got even a book.
This is your copy of the Declaration of Independence from the National Archives. You got your Bill of Rights,
Oh my
and
goodness.
and you got your Constitution. Okay.
Leave it to Blake.
Yeah. All right. Know what you got. All right. Let's see. Let me find it. All right. This is coming from your, like the it's your it's all of our declaration, but it's like the prelogue, the prologue, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Nicolas Cage quoted it in National Treasure.
Leave it to you to know this.
Um, it says that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seek most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
Wonderful. And that
Amen.
and that pretty much sums up everything we talked about today.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, Tamika, for you. Well, all of you, but she always gets it right. The riddle of the night. Why do rabbits make good jewelers? I can't even talk.
Because they like 24 carats.
Close. You are correct. Um, uh, it's they can tell the best carrot.
They
So
can
you're
tell. Close enough. It's something
yep,
about
close.
carrots.
Yep, very good, very close. Yes, carrots, Janet. All right, you guys, thank you for everything that you do and keeping interactive. I appreciate everybody. And remember, you're all beautiful inside and out. Don't let anyone make you think differently. And everyone have a great night. And thank you to Patriots Landscaping for sponsoring tonight's podcast. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.